Hey Taeler Army, welcome back to another episode of All Things Taeler. So I wanted to do a really cool follow-up to Growing Up Haunted. So this is going to be my vlog, following up from my blog about growing up haunted and what it was like growing up in a haunted historical house. So for all you skeptics out there, for all you believers, all you Taeler fans in the Taeler Army who want to know more about me and what it's like behind the skin of Taeler Hendrix, this is some pretty cool stuff. So I'm using like a selfie stick, guys, and I've talked about how I'm not tech savvy, so if it's a little, you'll kind of know why. But I'm very animated about this topic, so I wanted to be able to use my hand instead of being like, I need to stay very still and robotic so I can get in the footer. You know what I mean? So, so growing up haunted, guys, was crazy. Friends of mine, my little sister who's about 7.5 years younger than me, my mom, my animals, my cousins, so many people had experiences in this house. Even a neighbor who apparently lived there as a child who came knocking on the door one day who wanted to like take a tour after we had done some like remodeling when I was a kid. It was very creepy. Even she had experiences. So, as discussed in Growing Up Haunted, which is the first blog article I had done about this on Medium, which I advertised on Twitter. So by the way, stay up to date on all things Taeler, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, my blog. You just never know what I'm going to be dropping. So, Growing Up Haunted, guys, gives you a very healthy respect for things that go bump in the night. I kid you not. You learn very quickly to not just protect yourself, but realize there's things that you can't understand that are out there, and to, you know, have a very healthy respect. You never want to invite something in that you can't control or understand and whatnot. So I grew up in a very interesting house. My house was built in 1912, and growing up in Massachusetts, there's a lot of very historical and cool things. You know, the birthplace of the Revolution and the Industrial Revolution with all the factories, and plus that we were like one of the wealthiest spots in the continental U.S. at that time, during the whaling industry, because we were so huge into whaling. We had one of the most famous ports, and then, you know, we had several stops in our city on the Underground Railroad, and just all kinds of really cool historical things, you know. So my house was built in 1912, and by the time we had moved in, at least 4 people had actually like died on the property in the house. And then unfortunately, when I was 5 years old, my grandmother actually died of cancer in the house. It was very hard when I think about it. I think that's one of the reasons why getting like, when anyone talks about cancer, I kind of get very emotional, because almost every person in my family, almost everyone, that's crazy numbers, guys, almost every single one has died of cancer with the exception of less than a handful. So I take that very seriously, and I have very vivid memories of when my grandmother died in the house, exactly where I was, what I was doing, and the fact that my mother was in charge of basically her hospice care in the house. And I remember people coming and paying their respects and everything. It was very interesting experience, and that chair that I was in for a very long time had some very interesting activity actually in the years following, but those are other stories. So several years after my grandmother died, when I was about 7.5 years old in first grade, my sister was born, and years later after that, my sister was born in the month of January, and every year is one of like the decor things that would be a part of her birthday. She would just get one of those big, huge like helium balloons, guys, that when you like hit it, it played music. And every year the cats would like go nuts for it, destroy it, drag it through the whole house, go nuts and pop it and play with the string. It was crazy. But for whatever reason, they would not touch this particular balloon. I don't understand it, but you know, when you're going through life, you don't really put much stock or any thought into that. You kind of, life goes on, right? So we're in early spring, and my older cousin, and my mother and myself are in the living room, right? Nobody else is home. It's just the 3 of us. And they're on this long couch that's up against the wall, and they're facing on another wall that had a TV set up. Right? And then on this wall over here, next to the entrance to the room on this side, was like a love seat recliner, and that's where I was sitting by myself, which looking back, I'm like, oh goodness, I would do that by myself. And then right next to me is a little 3-foot hallway that connects to the dining room and the entrance to the house. So that balloon, for whatever reason that year, was just chilling in the dining room. Word had, there he falls, there shall he be buried, whatever, you know, just chilling there. The cats didn't touch it. And we're talking, having a good time, minding our own business, whatever. And this balloon, we start to see it just come out of the dining room, down through the hallway. I don't know what they're staring at until it crosses the threshold. Then I see it, and I see it continue like this, make a complete U-turn in the middle of us, in the middle of our living room, and head just like this right back through that same hallway and back into the exact same corner in the dining room. Nuts. Now, skeptics, believe me, I have tried. I was like, was there an air current? Was there a cat? Was it attached to something? What could possibly explain it? It was at eye level as we're sitting down, and it was not bobbing. Not bobbing. It was just, there was no breeze, no open windows. It was still relatively chilly, you know, New England. And yeah, and we just watched it in stunned silence. And I remember being so freaked out that I jumped off of my recliner chair and went to go like, Mom, oh my God, you know, I'm just a young kid. You know, we tried so hard to explain it. It was like crazy. It was as if like a kid or something was just holding it and like decided to play with it and was like, oh, you guys are in here. Well, I'm going to let myself be known and carry on and go out. Now, in the blog that I had just released called Growing Up Haunted, and it's part 1, I mentioned that there was more to the story, right? So I mentioned that upstairs, and the upstairs is where the second level, where the 3 bedrooms are. Well, to get up there, you come into the house, which is a long hallway, and right to the right of the front door is the stairs. And the stairs go like this, like this, like this, and then you make it to the landing. Well, to the right, so you have to kind of like turn a bright corner and then turn in. That's where my bedroom was located at that time, right? And then this room had a giant creepy walk-in closet that I never liked. That's all the way across the room, up against the opposite wall. And you have to open the door, right, to get into it, and it's a big walk-in closet. So now that I've explained how those stairs work, you might think it's excess, you know, details, but it's not. It's all very important. So months later, it's the summer. I have to clean my room. My mom was like, if you don't clean your room, you're grounded. So I'm cleaning my room. I'm home alone. My sister had like some sort of sporting practice of some kind. Both the parents went. So it's just me. I'm cleaning my room, and I open my closet door to put something away, and boom! That balloon hit me so hard in the face that I stumbled backwards, was so scared, I started screaming, ran. I didn't really run, I kind of fell down all 14 stairs, ran out the front door, then stumbled down the porch steps and sat there and waited for my family to get home because I was so scared. Like, it was like, how the heck did that same balloon get from the dining room on the first floor, come out of the dining room into that hallway, then come down the entrance hallway, then up the first 4 stairs, up the next set of stairs, turn again up those last stairs, then get to the main landing, then turn that corner, then get into my room, go across my room and into my closet. Please explain that to me. And it hit me so hard in the face. Like I was like this, like, you know, kind of wrestling sound, like, oh my God, is my nose like, am I bleeding from my nose? Crazy. I never liked that closet. 4 babies were born in that room. It was insane. And that is one of many, many stories about that room and about that house with Growing Up Haunted. So leave your comments below. I hope you all enjoyed a funny balloon haunted house story at my expense. Happy Halloween, y'all.